Cool. So yeah, so I think that a couple of the things that people need to really understand is, so many people go after a goal, go after a mission when it comes to their personal finances, their personal financial goals, but people don't realize there's a difference between successful and being significant. So I believe that on your way to wherever it is that you're going, I believe it's important to contribute to society in some way, shape, or form. This past weekend, I was I did a prison ministry this weekend right down the road, and I was working with a young man who I was just telling somebody about a few minutes ago. Man, this guy's going to make it. He's 100% going to make it. His head is on straight. He's going to go places for sure. And we were talking about goals, and we were talking about his visions and his dreams, and it's amazing the vision you can have being locked up. And I was explaining to him how so much further advanced he is than some of the people that I meet on the outside of these fences, on the outside of the barbed wire fence. There are so many people that are walking around right now with a broke mindset, with a poverty-stricken mind, that at the end of the day, they don't realize that they're in their own prison that they created themselves. They don't realize that they're locked up with the key in their hand. And I think it's an important thing for people to realize, that you don't realize the freedom that you have until the choices or the options have been taken away from you. So to listen to this guy talk, man, at first he was asking me, he was saying, Jeff, some of my goals, man, I want to get into this trade, I want to do, and I said, is that your goals or is that your plan? I said, because what are you going to do when you get out of prison? What are you going to do when you get out of here, right? And you, let's say you land a concrete gig, you land a concrete job, and you're pouring concrete for $15 an hour. Do you really want to tell people that you met your goals? No, I think that's a plan. I think it's a plan to get into doing something, to get on your feet, to make things happen. But when I say what are your goals, I mean what are your goals? What's the life that you want to live? And we started having a conversation about writing a book. He said, I'd like to write a book. I've been locked up most of my life. And I'd like to write a book to help young teens from coming to the place that I'm at right now. I said, what are you waiting on? He says, I don't know. I just haven't started. I said, well, listen, if you're going to have goals, if you're going to have visions, if you're going to have dreams, dude, you got to start on them today. You got to get started. If God gave you a purpose, then why would you wait for tomorrow what you can do today? And so I asked him, I said, when are you getting out of here? How soon are you getting out of here? He says, man, I'm getting ready to get out of here. And this is when it really hit me, the vision that this man had, this young guy had. He said, I said, so when are you getting out of here? He says, I'm going to be getting out of here in about 2 years. I want you to think about that for a second. This guy says he's getting out in 2 years. He said he's almost ready to get out. You know how many people start businesses out there outside of these fences right now, and they won't give it 2 weeks? They won't give it 2 months. And this guy's not even getting out for 2 years, and he said he's getting ready to get out. He's been locked up for at least 7 or 8, I think he said. He's getting out in 2 more years, but his vision says, I only have 2 years left. That's nothing. So if he says 2 years is not long, to sit on a bunk 23 hours out of 24 every single day for the next 2 years, and he's excited because he's almost out. He's going to get out there and get the chance to participate in a world that people that live out there now don't do anything with it. They don't do a single thing with it. So at the end of the day, that's the kind of vision that he has being locked up. But I feel so much worse for the people that aren't locked up, but they have themselves locked up mentally. They don't realize that they have the key, it's in their hand, but they're not taking advantage of it because the chances have never been taken away from them. People don't understand that today is the best time ever to get involved in business. It's the best time ever to create success for their families. When everyone else is stepping back in fear and complaining and worrying about things, right now is 100% the time to do what everybody else is afraid to do. Had somebody the other day that was talking about business and was talking about, in particular the business that I'm in, reading and saying that 95% of the people fail. And I thought to myself, wow, 95% fail, that's crazy. And this person goes to church with us, and I said to her, I said, let me ask you a question. Do you realize that 95% of the people that go to the altar and pray go back to what they were doing before they went to the altar and pray? So what should we do? Shut the doors to the church? Should we close down the church because of your percentages aren't lining up with what you think they should be? The other thing is this person started a cleaning business. So the other thing, what they said was, or I brought up to her and I said, do you realize that 95% of all businesses fail, including cleaning businesses? I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that everybody should stop running a business and just start, everybody should just go participate in working for the 5%? I said, let me give you some advice. If I were you, I would stop studying the 95% of people that fail, and I would start studying the 5% that don't. And I think that your results will be different for you. I think that your life will turn out a little bit differently if you start focusing on the things that you actually want. See, riding a couch is not actually a living. It's not actually a job. And the people that sit back and do nothing, it's worse off to sit around and do nothing with the opportunities we have in this country today. I think I would rather be sitting in prison. At least I have an excuse to accomplish nothing in this lifetime. At least there's a reason for not accomplishing big things when you're sitting there. But you realize I have seen people write books that have been bestsellers from the prison cell. You want to know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about Paul. The Bible, the #1 selling book of all time, was written from prison. So if you don't think that you can accomplish things no matter where you're at in life, you're dead wrong. The problem is that it's the way that you think. I mean, people locked up are doing more significant and potentially larger things than people that are out here in the real world that have opportunities that they don't. But yet we don't see them as opportunities, because what do? We throw them away. We say, oh, that's not for me. That can't be legit. That can't be real. Well, you're thinking like a 95%er. It's probably time you shut down, stop studying the failure rates of everybody who attends the 95% meetings, and start looking at the 5% that say, I don't care what the percentages are. Could you imagine somebody in high school football right now, a shooting star, somebody that is the best on the team? Could you imagine, somebody telling them the percentage of people that make it to the NFL? I mean, could you imagine, Tom Brady? Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he got passed up 6 times at the draft. That means 32 teams looked at him 6 times and said, we don't want him. We don't want him. Could you imagine? But when the Patriots finally picked up Tom Brady, what happened was he said, I'm going to commit to this team because they were the only team that would give me a chance. I'm going to commit, and I'm going to give them the best that I've ever done. I'm going to give them everything that I have because of the opportunity they gave to me. Now, I'm not a Patriots fan, but I am a fan of somebody who never gives up, who doesn't quit. At the end of the day, all 32 teams that passed him up had no idea he was going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And that's not an argument. That's a fact. There's nobody playing football currently today, right now, that's done the things that he's done ever since he's put his hands on that football for the first time. So, guys, we have such an amazing opportunity. We have Tom Brady stories in each and every one of us. We have the chance and the opportunity. There's greatness inside of each and every one of us. The problem is you have to stop listening to the ones that are pushing you down every single day. You have to stop listening to the ones that don't have what you have, that don't have the gifts or the vision or the dreams that you have. If you pay attention to those people, 1,000% you're going to be just like them. They're the 95%. It's time that you become the 5%. Stop locking yourself up. Throw away the key once you open it. Don't go back into that prison. Do the things that you're supposed to do. Go after the things. When your gut tells you to do something, that's usually God telling you, go do it. Do what I tell you. Don't start tomorrow. Start today. But as soon as you leave, your mind starts telling you something different. And then the enemy will put people in your path. The 95% he'll put 95% in your path to justify your fear. And you start paying attention to your fear, listening to your fear. Next thing you know, you're the one that's researching why businesses fail. You're the one researching the 95% that don't make it happen, that's never going to make things happen for their families, the ones that end up working for the 5% that figure it out. So I would strongly suggest, be like that person I just met with. I'm not allowed to mention his name, but be like him. Be like him. I only got 2 years left. I'm leaving really soon. That's the vision he has. And I promise you, when he gets out, he's going to make something of himself. He's going to make something of his life. He's not going to go back to a life of drugs because his mind is different than it was when he went in.